So, hello and good afternoon. Right, so I woke up this morning and I've been working on this motion system, and I know I want to do it so that it's got real motion, so real feedback coming from the computer from inside a game. Biggest problem is there's really only GP bikes, MX bikes, and I think MotoGP 18 also has a motion profile, so it has telemetry. So in order to get realistic motion for a motion simulator, you need to be able to get the telemetry coming out of the computer, being fed basically to an Arduino that then will control the motion of the system, i.e. the motors. Well, that's all well and good, except what if you want to do Ride 4 or, MotoGP, SBK 22, TTI Le Mans? There aren't any, they're just not supported for motion. So that's kind of, you spend all the money and then, well, it's only going to really work if you use certain games. Now for me, that's fine. I use GP bikes. That is my go-to because it's got native VR. It's got motion. So yeah, I design my whole systems around GP bikes. But at the end of the day, I love Iron Man TT. Can't wait for 3 to come up. And well, I'm thinking if I'm going to spend the money, the time and money, designing a motion system, and then not being able to use it all the time. Now, I don't have the knowledge to write a standalone plugin for TTI Le Mans. I know it should be able to get done. Same for a lot of other games. I just don't have that knowledge. And therefore, I want to be able to use it in any game. Now, funnily enough, you can actually get motion for the crew, which has bikes, and they're brilliant. I really enjoy the crew on a bike. You got a whole open world, brilliant stuff. But I want to make it that I could have my systems have motion. So I've got the static system as it is right now. And even because of the concept of my bars, it does cause me to be able to actually lean, even sitting here on the couch. I'm actually getting some kind of feeling as opposed to sitting here dead still and I've got a gamepad, because I'm twiddling with the gamepad now and nothing's happening. My body's staying still. I don't need to move. So what are we going to do about it? Well, I woke up this morning and I thought, I'm going to do something about it. I want a standalone system. I know what I need. It's basically all the same as a motion simulator that receives information from a computer. It still has to be fed by an Arduino. But the computer is feeding the Arduino the information for the roll and the pitch. Now, I've done motion testing now. I don't have a license for SimTools yet, and I don't have a license for the plugins for GP bikes. Simulation Studio has MotoGP 18 and GP bikes and MX bikes, but Simulation Tools has MX bikes and GP bikes. So, end of the day, I wasn't able to test it. You get a free license that you can use for Live for Speed. So I've done that test and I'll make a video later on that. That's this model that you see in the top left corner receiving actual data. But because it's a car sim, it has to work on the surge and the sway and the heave. No heave. So just the surge and the sway, because the roll of a car is so minimal, it won't function and won't show it on the bike model. So what I've done is I've basically made it so that my steering system, it has one potentiometer that sends a signal to the computer for the steering position, or what would be called the steering position. I've now altered it so my steering isn't steering, it's a lean angle of the bike. That's how I function. Although it's actually giving the steering input to the game, in coronation to what you would be doing with your gamepad for your leaning left, leaning right, that's what this is basically doing. But it works that when you look at my handlebar angle to the bike on the screen, you're seeing that the handlebars and the bike are the same. So I've done it to work with where I want to lean the bike, how much I'm going to lean the bike, not how much I'm steering, counter steering. And counter steering is really this whole kerfuffle. So that said, as you can see, I can move my bars, nothing's happening right at this moment. And they're actually unplugged, and you can see the Windows Games Controller window is open, that white window, and nothing is connected. If I was to connect this, it would, and the one cable that is connected is going down to the foot controls, because they have to be plugged in before you plug it into the computer. But if I plug this in now, you can see it comes up and says HS3 Street Fighter Pro. So I'm going to unplug that again. Right, there's my cable. Right, I'm just going to hang it over there. So, and the model, nothing's moving. No lights on the screen. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to power up the Arduino. As you can see, the model starts twitching a little bit. Right, now, my handlebars are not plugged in, okay? Cable's here. See, there's the cable. Right, but if I move my bars, so I lean to the right, that bike is leaning to the right. If I lean to the left, then the model is moving to the left. But it's doing it in exactly the same amount as the handlebars. Now my handlebars do a maximum of about 18 degrees either side. So, in theory, and it will work, when I turn my bars and say I'm at 10 degrees, what's going to actually happen is when I'm on the sit-on system, my bars are going to be 10 degrees more than the angle of the bike, meaning that my whole lean angle for the bars is going to be 20 degrees, even though I've turned them 10. So the bike will only have to lean 10 degrees in order for it to feel like it's leaning 20. And vice versa. So by the time I've got to my 18 degrees, and I can change that as well, by the time I've got to my 18 degrees, I'm basically doing 36 degrees. So, and you've got to remember, you're static in a room. You're not moving forward, so you're not being held to the bike. So when you lean over, you can fall off. And people don't realise that. And I do. Even with it static, I still have to have my leg against the tank to stop me, because I have fallen off before. So, yeah, it can happen. So at the end of the day, my handlebars aren't even connected to the computer. And just from simply powering up the Arduino, I'm powering that model, and it's doing exactly what I want. And I'll just enlarge that screen so you can see. Right, get it so they're both there. Right, so now you can see, as I'm leaning, obviously it's different on your screen, but you can notice that model is in correlation to exactly how I am moving. Now, when I do that on the full-scale system, basically what's going to happen is it's going to allow me to have it totally standalone. No matter what game I'm in, what program I'm running, I will have motion. And I can use exactly all the same connections. All I have is additional 2 potentiometers. I've got, if you look up here, I've got And I did this out of original parts from the steering. So in fact, I've got three sets of steering gears. The standard set, which sends a signal to the computer for the actual steering. Then I've got one for the left potentiometer, one for the right potentiometer at the back of the system. I haven't altered any of them. They're exactly as they were printed. And the same for the smaller gear that goes on the pot. And then I came up, I didn't even cut a piece of metal. I literally found some parts I had, welded them as they were, and it just fit, boom, fitted. I did it in about an hour and a half. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was going to take me days. I was going to have to print this, print that. Got it done this morning by 11 o'clock. I was like, yeah, baby. So, it's working. But let's see how it works in a game. So now, I'm going to connect our computer. Right. Now I'll make sure we've got faculties. Right, everything's there. Okay, get rid of that. And now we can start GP Bytes. I'm not going to even bother going into VR. I wanted to do this quickly to show what I'm going for. And that basically, let me just check that I've got this working. Right, I think we're good to go. Just go back to my standard place. And the beauty of it is, it also means, I mean, just for sim tools, okay, it's going to cost £50 for a license that you can use Motion, and then in order to get the plugins, that's another 29 quid. So you're looking at 79 quid just to be able to do GP Bikes for me. So obviously it's got the crew in it as well, and I think GTA 5, which have got bikes and I can use my system in. So yeah, I could do 3, but I want to be able to use it on anything. So yeah, that's basically where I'm at. And so we're just going to take a quick spin and you'll be able to see. I've got to remember to look at the screen where the bike actually is. Otherwise, looking at the recording screen is not good. Maybe I'll make that little screen a bit bigger. Yeah, I think I can do that. Let me pull over. Get rid of neutral. Where's my mouse? Right, I get at least a little bit bigger. As long as I can see where I'm going. So now you can see, if you look at the fairing of my bike, you see the lean angle of that. Then you can see that's how the model is replicating it perfectly. And I haven't got the right rod ends and all that, connecting it from the servos. I've just got some steel that I bent. Obviously for the real thing, it would be done properly, everything would be calculated. I would probably turn ratios down. I'd make it tunable so that you can make it so it'd lean as much or as little as you wanted. And also the stance of the bike is facing down a little bit too much. I am going to try and figure something where I can make it so it pitches forward for braking, but acceleration is a bit of a problem, because once you've accelerated, the front's going to really come up, but then the bike settles forward, and that's going to be the issue. So I could do it on like a time it stay open for, it'd stay up in the air for a certain amount of time, and then it would ease back down to level. I'm not thinking about riding, so if I crash, that's why. So it will mean at the end of the day, and in reality, even a game with motion in GP bikes doesn't really affect your roll that much, because the roll is really the lesser of the two that is needed. The most important is the motion of the pitch, i.e. for when you're accelerating, when you're braking. Those are the ones you really feel more than anything, not so much the roll. The roll is more, a lot of people really want to have the roll because it looks better. And a lot of them, oh, it's got to have roll, blah, blah, blah. But if you use my system, especially in VR, you really feel as if you are leaning over on the bike, especially on this corner coming up here. Going through this section, my God. No, I'm not going to make that. I'm not. But can I hold it? Can I hold it? Can I hold it? Stay on there. You see, and the one thing is as well, because it doesn't have motion, there's no up and down. So otherwise that would be hobbling. Like you'll see in the next video when I do live for speed. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to try, I hate a gamepad. I don't have a steering system, so I'm going to try and connect my handlebars to live for speed. Basically leave it as it is now, and then just use live for speed to show, because I hardly even need to rewire the Arduino, I only need to disconnect 2 wires in fact. So I think that has shown you guys where I'm going for a standalone motion system for roll, which will mean that whatever game you're in, you're going to have a system that will lean, and it will lean the right amount, because you're not going to be leaning more than your bars are. So it will lean exactly as it should do. So it will be correct. So, you know, okay, if you crash, it's not going to flip you all over the place, but you're not supposed to be crashing. So thank you for watching, and I hope that's cleared a few things up. I will try and get this one where I do the motion from the game to the model. We've got to use the model at the moment because that's where you save money. I think I'm coming into the pits a little bit too quick. Right. So, once again, thank you for watching, and yeah, I'm going to enjoy this journey of motion. I've got the end one. Okay, something's happening. I don't know what went on there. I thought it went all funny. Right, okay. So thank you, and I will see you in the next video. So once again, thank you very much, and have a wonderful Easter day. Bye-bye. Right.